my name is Farah and welcome back to my channel where today we're talking about 90 Day Fiancé, honey. It's before the 90 days, it's season 4, it's episode 11, and it was called Private Eyes. And I'll tell you right now whose eyes I'm happy aren't private, and that's Rosemarie, because her eyes told a story. Her whole face does, honey. She's like giving us every emotion, everything we need. She's like the Claire Danes of the season, honey. I mean, I live for every face. Oh my God. Just as David says that his trip to the Ukraine was full of ups and downs, so has this season, and so was this episode. A lot of downs for the whole season, practically the whole thing. I mean, 2 couples ceased to exist in totality. 1 whole half of 2 whole couples, which is 1 whole person, but really 2 people in this math that I'm making up off the top of my head right now, don't exist. I stand by that. It's Williams and Lanya. It's Lana. It's Williams. You can't feed us crumbs and have us pretend we're at a feast. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get in. I curled my hair last night and then I slipped on it. I feel like it's very like Veronica Lake. What's this? Oh, okay. She zhizhed it too much. You gotta take that zhizh down, honey. Get back in line with that zhizh. So let's start with yo-yos. So where we were, honey, was that she was having, guess what? Another meeting with her family because there's no one else that will like put on the charade with her. Even that friend that was like lingerie shopping with her was like, I hate this that you're making me do this. You promised me a Togo sandwich after this and you better deliver a foot long. But here they are, it's her son, it's her daughter. Her son's wearing a primitive shirt, like I said, and that's like what Yolanda thinks we all are for having to like sit through and believe this. But they're like, look, Mom, we're gonna Google image search. And guess what? That photo is a stock photo of like some hot Italian bodybuilder in a park. And she's like, no. How about another photo? Okay, so they do another one. There's a bunch of search results and none of them like Williams, none of them a restaurateur manager from Manchester with an undisclosed accent of some type who loves an emoji. Yolanda just contends that her relationship with Williams is real, honey. Kara's like, look, you're beautiful, you lost a bunch of weight, you got in shape, you're gonna write a book that everyone's going to buy, right? Ha 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 ha. That's not the reason why you're on the show, but hee hee hee, your best-selling memoir is going to be like an ebook or something. People will buy it and you should go out and get yourself a new man. Someone in my live brought this up, which was a brilliant point, which is Yolanda, straight up, if you're so dumb that you can't even get it through your head that this person doesn't exist and you've been catfished, then why the hell would I buy that book? I'm not gonna buy a book by someone who can't read any signs. Like, I have better things to do, like watch TV, read your book. What annoys me, of course, is that there's going to be an audience for it. Just like there's an audience for Stephanie's YouTube channel. That's all annoys me. Is that obvious? Yeah, sure. Right? Moving on to Jeffrey and Varya. So they've been camping, and Igor leaves them. What a delight, honey. He has to go bring some magic to some other people in the world, honey. He's a little dumpling, a little big ass leprechaun, honey. He's like a big fairy jumping around, bringing joy. A camping, hunting, vodka slinging Santa. So Jeffrey wakes up the next morn and she's like, did you sleep well? And he's like, no, I never sleep well with you. There's always something afoot. This is also the season of men not sleeping. Remember? Bed. We have some real delicate sleepers in this season. So before Igor went, he told them like, you guys should hit up this banya. And Varya's like quick to be like, okay, low-key, a banya is a less boring sauna. And yeah, it does look less boring. So pretty much they walk into a cabin, honey. They don't see anyone. There's no one there, no one to check them in, no one to give them a robe, honey. It's like a free-for-all. Like, there's not even a line. Like, I don't even know how this place exists. They like start the fire, honey. It's like a known thing. Is this like a socialist thing where you just go and like use to your own content? They have to start the fire and they have to wear these hats for some reason, like burlap sack. And that's supposed to make your hair soft, which I don't quite get. It seems like you'd be sweating underneath that cap, but you know, boops, bops. So they go into the sauna and they have to get real naked. And by naked, I mean like Jeffrey gets naked and Vanya just takes off her top, honey. And Jeffrey's there with his delicate baby porcelain skin and his just like very, very taunt butt. I mean, it is a bubble butt. I mean, for someone who's been to prison, like I wonder how he survived with that plump booty and that baby porcelain Korean skincare skin. Basically what happens is you like go out and get some tree branches and they whip each other. I don't know if it's eucalyptus tree branches, which I would enjoy. And you know what? That doesn't sound that bad. Little pain, little heat, honey. That sounds like, I mean, anything sounds good in this quarantine, but it's like a light ruffling of it. Rustling. I'll take any kind of massage. Like, I'll take any kind of touch. So if it's with, you know, a bunch of branches, beggars can't be choosers. So Jeffrey also has these like very horrible tattoos. I don't know if they're also the result of the prison system, but they are like weird, like highlighter things of his nipples. They look like really skinny hands, just like being like boop boop, like little like nipple grabbers. Every decision that he's made is like suspect. Then after like the sauna sitch, they like jump into the water, and Vanya, like, you know, loves to be a free spirit, honey. She's like, that top comes off and they jump in, and this part looks cute. Does the water look like pristine blue? Is it like St. Lucia? No, not so much, but maybe it's just like lake water. Like there's just like some moss in there, and that's why it looks army camo green, the kind of army camo that House of 11, Darcy and Stacy's clothing line would turn into a jacket. Exact same color. And then, you know, Varia and Jeffrey have like some talks. And Varia has been like contemplating all that she's known of Jeffrey, which is the revelation that he went to prison for drug offenses and nothing about like his multiple accusations of women hatred and aggravated assault. So she's like, you dazzle me. You dazzle me. And it's an interesting choice of word that, like, I don't know if it's a language thing, but like I said this in the live, but when I hear like the word dazzle, and maybe because it's my strong theater nerd core, which is like Chicago's Razzle Dazzle, like, which is a song about how a lawyer will put on a big show for a jury to get his accused off, right? It's like razzle dazzle, you know, like it's so when she says it, I was like, yeah, it's not real. There are some things that he's hiding behind all of the glitz and glam and the shiny skin, the shiny Glossier skin that he shows you. But she feels that chem, honey, and that dirty ass water. You know, she probably also feels like a mild bacteria infection. Oh my God, can you imagine? Ugh, I'm glad she left her panties on. Anyway, so he takes her out to a beautiful part of the naturey wood part, and then they sit at a picnic bench, and he's like, this is so romantic. And then she's like, yep. And then he's like, gets down, brings out a ring. He's like, will you marry me? And she's like, I can't begin renovations of that condo. Like, I gotta get to America quick, honey. We gotta sell this thing. Let's keep it moving. I don't want to sleep in pure daylight all the time. Plus, I'm mad at my friends for like throwing me underneath the bus, like especially that blonde one that was like trying to tell you that I was talking to other guys. Like, I don't have any friends here. Like, no one knows my name. They're all dead to me, honey. America, here I come. Okay, moving on to Ash and Avery. No, and no bad. I don't like it. We come on the heels of Ash's just horrible TED talk that he stole from like some YouTube people about the 1950s gender role philosophy that he not only chooses to live by, but preaches is the end-all be-all for everyone, like completely ignoring the lifestyles of many people of varying sexualities. There are masculine women that like men, there are masculine women that like women, there's masculine women that like both, there's masculine women that like transgender, you know, just like there's too many, there's just like, this is a spectrum, honey. It's like all the colors are happening. We are not living in an 8-piece crayon box anymore. We have that 72 crayon box, honey, there's a sharpener in the middle. And Avery is just like dumbfounded that she is gonna be made to look like some sort of like anti-feminist. So she's like, is this what you believe? Like, she's trying to be like, is this what you believe? I don't get it. Like, cause he's being super like fishy, like, it's just that, you know, I didn't get my point because they weren't getting it. Like, it was over their heads. And she's like, no, that's not what happened. Like, you were being incredibly sexist and closed-minded, and these women were calling you out, and you've lost your goddamn mind. And he's like, no, and being very like defensive about that and evasive, honey. And then he just wants to leave. He just wants to like get in his car. They have this weird like stare down outside of his car, and somehow he changes. On the pier, he was wearing a gray sweater, so he walks away from her, and they're practically wearing the same thing, except his jeans are skinnier, but their boots and gray sweaters matching. And then he's like wearing a blazer. I mean, who knows? I don't know what happened. Did he get too hot, literally and figuratively? Because it definitely figuratively got too hot on that pier. So later on in like the condo or whatever, like they're still fighting, like still having it, except that he has now manifested this whole other thing about how she's not supportive of him and that she didn't recognize that he was hurting after his bad seminar and just went in on him. And it's like, because you were fucking bananas and she didn't know if you knew it or who you are. I mean, the whole time he's like, you know, men are logical and women are too emotional and men like to have boxes and women like to go in and decorate the boxes, you know, and it's like, for spouting all of this masculine versus feminine and the hardline traits of both, he is being, quote unquote for him, incredibly effeminate. His pants are too tight. He's like borderline metrosexual. He's like high maintenance. He's like emotional AF. He's illogical as crazy. He's like, you don't support me. Like I mean, like he can't answer a question. He has like circle logic and circle thinking. It's not anything real. He is like screaming at her and crying, and she's the one just like sitting on this couch like, I can only imagine how much she wants a joint. Does she get to have weed? Is there weed in Australia for this woman? I mean, like, to have to deal with this all day? Honey, she has to like get her own hotel room, honey, and spark it up. He's like, don't I make you feel secure? And it's like, no, you never have. No, you didn't make her feel secure when you guys weren't together, because like you would not talk about having a girlfriend and you had this like crazy gigolo job where you just like talk women into believing her bullshit all the time and just pay you for it. And you have not made her feel secure there, because every time that she tries to have any sort of real authentic conversation with you, or like get who you are, or like listen to some sort of statement that defines or helps her define who you is, honey, who you are, you don't give it to her. You like dodge, dodge, dodge. You're like walking on a log and she's just trying to like keep afloat, like running it, like waiting for her to find the flat side to get some stability, and there's none. You do a shitty job of being a man in this masculine versus feminine role play you guys are doing. You're like in bad masculine cosplay. Honey, Rosemarie gave me life in this episode, and now I will just call everyone out. We see you. I feel like a lot of women have been watching this season being like, you tell him, fucking Darcy, take your note. Take your fat shame comment. Run away with your white wine. Take your toupee, David. Go and hug your cat. Did you think that he like took his toupee off while in Ukraine and hugged that too? And of course, when we get to Ed, oh my God. Ash and Avery just end with she being like, I'm done. And he'd be like, actually, I'm done. No, I'm done. And a lot of people in my comments were like, interesting that this all blew up the day before they were supposed to leave to meet Siam, his ex-wife. Which he had shown signs he did not want to happen. Suspect. We see you. We have your number. And we know the Australian area code. Okay, on to David and David's toupee. So David comes back from Ukraine with no lawns. And his friend picks him up from the airport, which by the way is so nice, like in this day and age, like honey, like you usually just get an Uber. I mean, make someone pick you from the airport, that's like borderline psychotic, but okay. His friend asks him how it went. He's like, there was ups, there was downs, ups and downs and ups and downs, and it's like, what ups? What up? What ups were there? I didn't see any. Is that when she didn't meet you at the airport, or when she stood you up at the train station, or when you went to the candy shop, you didn't buy any candy and you didn't see her? Is that when you went to the restaurant and she stood you up? Is that when you went and go try and find her in the apartment that she gave you that she supposedly lived at and some dude had lived there since 1995? Those are a series of downs. Down, 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 down. Honey, you were below sea level. He's like, I went to Lana's and it wasn't her. And the friend's like, what a surprise, right? And I feel like David was like, yes. Then David's like, I just need closure. I need to know what's up. And his friend's like, no, you are good. Let's keep it moving, honey. And David cannot keep it moving unless it's on the Lana train. He really likes that accent, honey. And so David then decides to hire a private investigator, much to everyone's dismay. Because David can't get over it. He's like, I just keep thinking about it the whole time we were together. And like, it was like, no, you weren't thinking that whole time. And he's like, I just want to know what Lana's thinking. And we're all like, that you're the dumbest target she ever got, and how much money can she still get from you? So honey, he gets that private investigator and calls his friend, I think her name is Victoria, whatever, to come over, and she's wearing like Carol Baskin for Sears. You know what I'm saying? It's like Carol Baskin, a time sign, and Sears. You know, it's every cat print. And Victoria like relishes her time on camera, honey. Like, she got her hair done, she got her makeup done in one of those like old-timey salons. Like, she has the kind of hair that like old women like get once every 2 weeks set and then they forget, you know? So Private Eye has done some research, and he, guess what, only speaks Ukrainian, and so Victoria's there to translate. And Victoria and him started talking, and the guy's like, yeah, I found like multiple dating sites with Lana's pictures, and she had different names on all the dating sites. It's not real. And David refuses to believe it. Just shuts down. He's like, that's fake. That's not real. You're not real. You're fake. We're like, oh, you even know the word fake? It's not us. It's like, he will defend her to his grave. What Aerosmith video has like a phone sex operator that you hear the whole time and you think it's like some hot ass girl and like the guy's dreaming of her, and then like they cut to who the phone sex operator is and it's like some older plump lady with like a kid on her hip. David's just like, you haven't seen her. He's like, I didn't have a relationship with someone that doesn't exist. She's real. And Victoria's like, you've never seen her. And he's like, I've never met her. Yeah, that too. Oh yeah, that too. He's like, you're fake, not her. You're fake. And she's like, what are you talking? You hired this. I don't know this person. You think I'm gonna lie on national television and like translate this wrong? I wish TLC did have the translations of what this guy actually said to her. But I do believe Victoria. Is that her name? I don't know. Carol Baskin for Sears. Yolanda tricked us all. Like, she really got on the show to write that goddamn book, and she knew that it was a catfish situation, but it really feels like David does not know. That person's insane. If I was friends with him, I would just have to be like, okay, my work here is done. I have other fish to fry, honey, and they are not catfish. They're chicken. I don't eat fish. Okay, moving on to Darcy and Tom. Honey, Darcy put on a full fucking face, and her hair looks great, honey. She goes down and she decides to address a manila envelope with a bunch of forever stamps and send that key home to its home. That opens, I don't even know, like Tom's secret music box with a ballerina that like pops up. I mean, that's not a real key, right? And if it is, it does not to his house. If he was going to send her a key to his house, he would have let her stay at his house, which he doesn't have. I refuse to believe he has. But at first, when she first started writing it, I was like, oh my God, is Darcy gonna write him a letter? Did she read the letter? And then she was gonna be like, Dear Tom, I know my man is out there somewhere, and my man wouldn't have sent Stacy's dumbass boyfriend Flavio or Flavin or Favin or whatever his name is a picture of the girl that he is cheating on me with. No, he wouldn't. I deserve better. You don't love me. You never have loved me. Jesse, ooh, scratch, scratch, scratch. Tom, P.S. I liked you better when you were fat, period. You looked more like a man, period. Stacy, will you read this for me? Will you spell check? Get back in the attic, kids. I need a drink. We cut to Tom, honey, and Tom is back in New York, just going to some bar, ordering a crisp, dry white wine, which is how I would describe him. Very dry, very white. And he calls his girlfriend. We get to see her, who, like, you know, is so happy that she gets her debut on the show. And I refuse to say her name because I don't even know. I don't even care. But she looks like Darcy. And he, like, tells her that it's gone badly. We also realize that he's told this girl about Darcy, like everything about her and their relationship. But he didn't tell Darcy, who was his girlfriend at the time, about this new one, and wants to be like, yeah, I gave Darcy a chance, but now that I saw her, I know my feelings are no longer, and it's with this woman. Like, you know, he's really trying to paint us a picture, honey. Someone who followed like a Bob Ross painting but only painted with his feet because it's a really ugly, bad picture. And this girl's like, good, I'm glad that you like don't have feelings for her anymore. And then he's like, so I just thought if I have a couple more days, I should just pop up to Vancouver or Canada, wherever you are. She's like, great. And he's like, okay, I'll come in a few days. She's like, cool, I'll pick you up from the airport just like David's friends do. And he's like, great, I will take you out to a nice dinner, like a Togo's, like Yolanda took her friend that shot with her. Is there Togo's in Canada? Lisa and Usman. So they're fighting over who's gonna wear the pants in the family, and then like she'll be like, you act like an idiot, and it's like, you are the idiot. She's just like stomps off in like a huff as if she's just going to leave him in the middle of this Nigerian town and make her way, when it's like, no you're not. You like are incapable of even being a moment without him. Like you made him promise that he would never leave your side when you were at night in your hotel room, honey, and he just wanted to go say goodbye to his friend, baby boo. You were mad at being left in a hotel room, like you're gonna walk off in the middle of like the day into some town you don't even know. You can't even pay for things yourself, honey. You don't know the language. Nope. So he has to go and find her in some like display, and then they make some sort of resolution, which I never even get how they ever get over an argument, except for the fact that he'll be like, now smile for me, baby. And she'll be like, when we get home, our compromise, it'll be 60-40. Lisa's like, as long as it's still 100% me bossing you around. And Usman's like, as long as it's 100% Soulja Boy's career taking off in America with my green card that you'll give me. So they both get what they want in the end. So honey, the next morning she's eating like a bunch of potatoes. I don't even know, like they did look good, but she's like, I'm tired of this place. This place was not impressive. He's like, my hometown that I grew up in with all my family and friends. She's like, nah, none of this impressed me. I'm very hard to please. My standard's high, honey. Have you ever stayed at a St. Regis? Either have I. I mean, you know, like, sorry, Lisa, you're not gonna tell me that like you've been catered to with 5-star service your whole life, honey. Or no Princess Anastasia before parents were killed in the Bolshevik Revolution. Is that what happened? I don't know. All I know is like I saw that musical when I was really young. Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember, and the song someone sings once upon a December. So they go to like a registry's office to like find out what they have to do to like get married or whatever, and it's, you know, like a little broke down, God bless, God bless. They're like, okay, so like basically what happens is we post a notice, and the notice is like doing business as notice, but just kidding. It's a notice of being like, these people are getting married, and if there's anyone to object, like other wives or girlfriends or baby mamas or whatever, they have the time to do that. And they're like, Usman, you've been married, right? And Usman's like, no. And she's like, I have. And the guy's like, do you have your divorce papers? And she's like, Usman, I told you 6 months ago, and I told you 5 months ago, and then 4 months ago I was like, do I need anything? And then 3 months ago I was like, are you gonna make sure about that? 2 months ago I was like, I'm not gonna bring anything unless you tell me to bring it. 1 month ago I started packing. And then 2 weeks ago I was like, are you sure that we have everything to get married with? And you said yes, or you said you didn't want to go. I forgot which one, but I couldn't do any sort of Google or research or find my own shit or find out how to do it, or I didn't do it right because it was my life and what I needed to get done, and I refuse. If you don't get married because you don't have the documentation, whose documentation don't you have? Yours. And maybe you should know that, like, yeah, if you've been divorced, have some sort of proof the divorce went through. That probably seems rational and easy. Like, no one's just gonna like take your Lisa's word for it from your 5-star service your whole life that impresses you so much. And by the way, like, you can get it. Just get someone to like get it for you, scan it, honey, send it. Send fax, just take a picture on a phone and send it. Not a big ass deal. We all have the internet, even in this 1950s-esque building with a raggedy fan. I mean, you know, Rosemarie has internet, and we've seen Rosemarie's place. Internet's everywhere. Running water, not so much. Bathrooms, internet everywhere. Okay, Steph and Erica. So they're both dressed like 50s housewives on Easter, honey, and they go to Erica's parents' house. You know, they're gonna like, the whole thing is they're gonna come out. They have to make a big to-do of like, oh, how scary it is and what's gonna happen and like, yee. And then, you know, they get to their parents' house, and Erica's parents are like, awesome. Are they related to Igor? I don't know, because they're lovely. And they made Chinese food, which is like, oh, so interesting. Like, can I taste it? Is it kung pao? Is it orange chicken? Because it doesn't feel like it's gonna be authentic. It's gonna be like that kind of stuff, which is fine for me. I enjoy it. Okay. The dad's cracking jokes left and right, honey. The mom is just like so happy to see her. Stephanie gives the gift that she brought to Erica's mom, was a 3-piece from Body Shop. Looked like a candle, soap, and lotion. They looked like different flavors, which like, come on, get it together. If you're gonna do that, like do it right. But God bless. Then as they're sitting, the dad's like, so how have things been? And Erica's like, well, we have had fun. He's like, I didn't ask we, I asked you. And he kind of said it in such a way as Erica's gonna be like, oh, well, I guess Stephanie's having fun, but I hate it. I hate her. I'm having a horrible time. But like, then she takes it as like, well, I said we because we're partners. And the dad's like, do you want some more fried rice? Honey, I cried. Tears came up in the eyes. I was like, I love you. You're the best part. You're making it all good. Oh. Oh. Parents that love their kids regardless of anything and don't care about stupid things and only want them to be happy. The mom was sadder with the idea of Erica leaving Australia and going to New York. Even then, she's like, whatever makes you happy, but like, I need to see you, my little bi girl, who I've always known was bi. So, like, look at the way you dress. Like, there's just something afoot, honey, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew. The dad's like, I didn't know. The mom says it, I just want to say it out loud, which is, we see too many people in life being unhappy for trying to please others besides themselves. Yeah, did you cry? A little bit? On to Ed and Rosemarie. Ed and Rosemarie, honey, decide to go for a little dip, and he can't go in the water, honey. His atopic dermatitis, all that salt, honey, all that sand, it's not good for him and his like very delicate body. So he decides to go in a pool. And for some reason, TLC decides to like bring in a pool cameraman and give us a lot of underwater shots. And I'm just gonna be honest, like we didn't need those. Ed's body underneath water, ugh. That's fine. So they come out and Ed's like, I gotta tell you something. And Rosemarie already knows it's gonna be bullshit. She's like, huh, what? What now, you goblin? Someone else called him like a booger, a little like virus guy from like a Mucinex DM commercial, which no. He's like, I know how you told me you want to have 2 kids last night. And she's like, yeah, I've also told you like the whole time we've been talking, but yes, specifically also last night, but like that wasn't the first time nor 15th time you've known that. And he's like, well, I made 2 appointments in America to have a little snip. And she's like, what? They would snip me, and then I wouldn't be able to have kids. First of all, you're doing the world a favor. And Rosemarie's like, the fuck you're telling me this now? What? No, I want 2 kids. I don't ask for much. I've literally asked you for nothing, and all you've done is ask bullshit of me. She says she's very, 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 very sad. 2 kids are her dream, and why the hell didn't he tell her? And he's like, I only have enough money and love for you and Prince, and that's it. I'm not a rich man. Honey, you have absolutely no neck, but you're still around. You don't have enough neck for anyone. You don't have enough neck for a turtle. She's mad, honey. She pissed. And so the next morning, like Ed gets up and like Rosemarie's not there. He has called her. He's texted her. He decides to like go get some fresh air, honey. I don't know. And then she comes over wearing a lovely dress. She's been walking, she's been thinking. It reminds me of when Danny Zuko has wronged Sandy, and he thinks like, what, Sandy's like this dumb, naive virgin, doesn't know what's up, and then Sandy shows up like hot as hell with something to prove. She's over his shit. And then Rosemarie's like, yeah, I've been walking, I've been thinking, and let's fucking talk. Let's get this all out. You really need to hear this, and it's gonna come from me. You lied about your height. You lied about wanting kids. You tried to embarrass me by having me take an STD test. Me. No talk of you getting one. You tried to embarrass me about my breath when I have a goddamn ulcer. You tried to embarrass my home. You tried to embarrass my dad. Do you like living here amongst the pigs? Then you tried to embarrass me about my sister asking you for money and you being too cheap for giving her anything and then accusing me of wanting your money. You're horrifying. He's like, I just wanted to see if we were compatible. And it's like, no, you weren't. We were never compatible. Nope, because I wanted this fundamental thing that makes life completely different and you didn't, and you hid that alongside every other part of you. And you have the audacity to come to the Philippines, show up looking the way you do, then repeatedly ask me if I find you attractive when I fucking don't. There's no way I would. What are you talking about? Do I find you attractive? And then I had to have sex with you after you got me drunk on cheap champagne? Are you are. Look in a goddamn mirror. You are a monster. You are a little monster. Just like that movie from the 80s with Ben Savage. And I am young and gorgeous.
Have you been to hospital lately? Have you been to hospital lately?
Can you hear my dad? My dad's yelling too, because he's really pissed.
You can hear that?
Yes. I mean, Rosemarie finally did what we all have been waiting for her to do, honey. She took back her power with truth. Honey, I feel like when she told off Ed, I felt like around the neighborhood, I heard a standing ovation of just people being like, finally, honey, finally it is happening to me. You have told off this asshole who doesn't deserve you. Come on, from the rafters. And they can hear you in the back. Oh, sing out, Rosemarie. It was magical. It was transformative. I really hate Ed for some of the same reasons I hate also Lisa, which is that they don't understand. They old, they ugly, they have not aged well, they put no effort into their appearance, they have no awareness of themselves. They expect that some young, hot thing is supposed to want to be with them, and yet they treat them like shite. What? No, you can't do it. You can't do it. Not in this house. Not around me and my kids. I don't have any kids. But yeah, it was great to see, and I live for her, and she's given me life in this quarantine, honey. She's the vaccine that we all needed. Just some sort of protection against this disease. Anyway, I'm so happy you guys joined me for this. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. If you haven't yet, of course, you can find my private Facebook group where I low-key have a cameo of Ed and Darcy up there. You can see Darcy drunk, and that is on Facebook. Just search Vanity Farah. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name is Chris L. Farah. The L is for lockdown, where we all are. If you haven't yet, like this video, share it, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Anyway, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stand up for what you believe and make art. I'll talk to you later. Bye.